Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are here once again, and we've got some more polymer clay to play with, as you saw in the package that I got the other day, and all the paints. Well, I've done the painting already for a blue angel, whatever you want to call him. I kind of sort of stuck to blue angel for that. But yeah, we've finished and painted, and that's all completely finished. But he needs a wingman. Oh God, we've got a comment already. Hello, welcome to the stream. Once again is Abigail. She'll hopefully doesn't need to be the moderator for the stream today because I'll be watching the comments because they're right in front of me. But if you're watching on the PSVR camera, hello. But if you're now joining me, the first time you meet, my name's Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games, and I'm here once again. I'm going to be playing around with some more polymer clay. Like I was saying a moment ago, let's move my phone over there. We are going to be making a wingman for my blue angel, as I consider him like a hero or even the original character for a hero. If you haven't seen the picture, definitely go and check out the other previous stream before this one to go and check that one out. But for now, we're going to be making a we're going to be making a morning skate. If you don't know who morning skate is, technically, it also is my wingman as well. In not just in Minecraft, but also he's my son. So I thought only just that because I've made me or my own character, I'd make him or his character. We kind of talk about it, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit more tonight because we will be playing some more Minecraft this afternoon. But it'll be on the Mixer channel. I'll upload some more of the Minecraft from the Mixer channel until that has shut down, because obviously, sadly, the Mixer is shutting down. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be making anything or making more things, because once Mixer has gone down, I'll be making more stuff over on this channel and basically ignoring that happened, because there isn't much we can do about it. So today, I thought we're going to be making that one, but I don't know what to listen to. We're going to be listening to some Robin, but not until now. I'll explain a bit more about that in a minute. I want to explain this a little bit more, as I already had this head made, and it was something I wanted to, if you can see that there. It's something that I created because of the previous stuff underneath. It's still polymer clay, and there was a magnet. And I was like, that could be a detachable head. And then I started making the face on top and the horns and things. So yeah, that's one face that I want to use. But because it's magnetic, I want to make it so it will be detachable and maybe swappable or something like that. Again, I'm trying to keep on to the thing that I would normally do, which was magnets. If you haven't seen any of the magnet polymer clay makes in the previous times, again, go and check in the playlist. Alive events creation station playlists for that. But polymer clay, we've got some skateboards, and as his name was Morning Skate, I thought it was only just to ask if my son wanted a skateboard to go with it to work. I asked him if he wanted it his character to be standing on it or to have him like in a pose with it, and he decided that he wanted it kind of like, so the skateboard was kind of not leaning on him, but he was sort of almost leaning down and sort of grabbing for the skateboard as you do when you lift it up. Because I said to him, it's definitely going to be having wings, because all my creations or any character I'm going to be making in the future, up until the point where I kind of ran out of things to make with wings, they're all going to be having wings. Because I've kind of decided that that's my thing. Many, many moons ago, if you don't remember, definitely going to check out all of my drawings. But we need polymer clay, got left over. Right, we have bought one of these, and it made half of this, or half of the amount of this, to cover all of this, and many other different creations. Can't show you them because they're obviously stuck up or they're put in places. But yeah. And I will apologize for the poor quality of the camera today. I don't know why I'm warming that clay up, because I need to make a armature for it. But yeah, if you are bad quality, don't worry, because I am recording on the PS4 once again. And that worked from previous for this, painting this. This is coming very soon. I'll start editing that in a minute, putting the music in and stuff like that, trying to get over the issues that we have. But we're going to make an armature like we do every single time. So I don't know why I bothered with the clay. But now, because we're going to make the armature and make it sort of semi-stable as well. So that's going to be interesting, considering I don't have... Let's move that camera down a bit. I don't have any wire. So, yeah. It's going to be very interesting how I'm going to be doing this. And I'm not going to be making huge, because I want to kind of make him the same size as the blue angel here. So we're sort of similar pose, but not similar pose. Sort of more of a stood. Let's make this a bit. Let's get this into a little bit of thing. I do wish I had a bit of wire. I did have some wire, but I have no idea where I put it. Absolutely no idea where that wood actually went. Wood, where that I'm thinking of these made out of wood. That wire went. No idea. I mean, I had it in the box of make, and I thought it was in this tin here, but no, just a load of tin foil. If you know what tin foil is, it's that stuff you bake on. I'll be making cookies later, maybe roast. I don't know, but yeah, when I do make it or use it for stuff, and I can't really use it to cook with, then I keep it back, and I always think, oh, polymer clay, what can I do with that? Always an armature. But again, it's going to be quite soft. I'm going to go and get a pair of scissors. It's going to be quite soft. So I have to be kind of careful the way I make it and what kind of pose I put them in, because I think I'm going to have to lay it down to bake it, maybe just prop the legs. Maybe I can prop it up with, like I did for the wings for this one, with like a pencil or something. I'm not sure yet. But I do know he's going to have a skateboard, and roughly the skateboard is going to be about, if I was holding a skateboard, which I have many times before, my legs would be, I'm trying to make it so it actually fits to the skateboard, so the skateboard's not like too huge to him or the character. So it'll have to be kind of that sort of length, height even. His knee would be there, because your knee is generally about halfway. Sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing here. Your knee is about halfway of your board, and then the rest goes up to about your hips or just under your hips. So I reckon that's going to be that sort of bend point or roundabout. About there, I'd say, to cut that off. Yeah, we'll cut it off about there. Because, again, it's going to be in pose. So we can sort of now can start to think, well, where's the knee going to be? Again, we're only putting an armature, so we're only kind of making a frame for it. Nothing majorly, just making basically what you would do with wire if you had any. This also helps to construct what you're thinking, or how you construct it, and where you're going to be constructing it, and how sort of what pose you're going to be using. Got the legs again. We'll think his knees will be, there's his hips, so there's the skateboard. I would say there's the knee. So there, bend, grab the knee there. Give it a little bend. Again, all details will be made out of polymer clay. So his knees would be bending like that. So he'd be kind of, and his hips would bend ever so slightly here, but that doesn't matter too much. So I have a foot and knee. So if he's bending down, maybe holding it, maybe instead of almost putting his foot on there as well. So okay, this is going to be interesting to make. Maybe his foot there, like that, with his hand. His other foot would be there-ish, and then he would be bending down, sort of reaching out for the board, say like that. His arm would be around about there. So let's give him a body. We can start sort of shaping into his body. There's his around about his body, I'd say. But we need some tape, which I don't have. So I'll wrap that around there. Again, we're only making the armature. So there's his body. And then we'll have an arm reaching out and another arm reaching out. There we go. Nice and thin pieces up pre-prepared for something else. Who knows what I did, but I did. Will we need to wrap these around, or can I just stick them on? Because it's going to be a bit by bit one, as previously. What I'm probably going to do is I'll make his body first, bake that, then do the clothing, maybe the hands, then bake that, hands and feet, and the head will be detachable, so I'll think about that later. Maybe I'll make another head as well. I don't know. Well, this one's going to be interesting. I'm only aiming for about 50 minutes today, though, guys, because I've got something. I will be going on mixer.com after this. So it is making the armature, covering the armature, and leaving it there until tomorrow. Length of arm. How much should we bend of an arm there? As his elbow, so his arm will stick about that. Now again, I'm completely not completely happy with all the size here as well. Seeming a bit big. But then again, the skateboard's quite big, and he's hunching. This is, oh, excuse me, this dude here. What's his name again? Arm bends like that. And the other arm bends like that. Seems quite chunky, that arm though. Maybe I will use that there. Because it's a bit more thinner. A bit more thinner. The two chunkies. We'll put that back for another later project. Okay, so we've got his body. Wish I had some tape, but I don't. It'll work itself out because all I'm doing is body. And we'll cover it up with clothing and such. I can't figure out where this leg would go. Where I've got something. Let's see. Do you know what? Give me a second. I know how to solve this problem. Because previously we had a Spider-Man underneath my Blue Angel. Well, there's another Spider-Man. I'm not going to cover it up because it's actually my favourite Spider-Man because he's actually completely posable. But not my completely favourite one because I've got a bigger version of this that's posable. But yeah, this will give you an idea on how I can hold that skateboard. So we're reaching out for the skateboard and then he'll be doing that. So he'll be doing that. So his foot will be like that and he'll be looking up like that. Kind of. And now this one's going to try and bend over. Right, so he's standing with the foot out on the skateboard, like I thought it would be. So his leg would be kind of straight. What would this arm be doing? Maybe I am thinking of giving him a weapon as well. So maybe I could use that as the prop item as well, sort of prop here and prop here, because again they're going to have wings that are coming out of the back of the creation. No, they're going to be quite heavy, but once it's all polymer clay and balanced, it should be okay. Yeah, so that body's way too big. Let's make that body a bit smaller. That's about the same length as I was thinking for the knee. Like I'm saying, the knee there. We're saying the knee bends. There's the foot and there's the hips. So yeah, let's make this make this smaller. Any kind of bulk we need to do, we can do with clay, like muscles, textures, or anything like that. If I'm thinking, not sure yet. Yeah, that seems a lot. That seems a bit better for me. I'll squash it down so we can at least have a torso type. There we go. Closer to something that actually would be, instead of something I got called a spitball eye. Because I have no drawing for this one. So then maybe I'll do that one after, or do everything in reverse. I'll make it out of polymer clay, and then I'll draw it, and then I'll make it out of VR. Who knows? I already kind of decided, now saying that, I'm going to do that. It's going to meant around about the same as this one. Just for the frame, because I'm lazy. There would be his hips. There would be his feet, and his knees would be around there. Pinch there. Pinch there with his feet. Okay, so we would have a foot about there then. First, stick that foot up. So I've got a foot. I can always chop it off if I don't put clay on it. There and there. Kind of like. They won't need to bend them, but that's kind of what I'm going for. Hopefully you can see that okay. I was going to put some Robin in the background, but I kind of need to talk. Now arms. Is how high is that compared? So again, we can squash that torso down a bit because it is not quite where I want it to be. Squish, squish. Tin foil, just as moldable as actual clay. Nearly. Okay, that's, I would say, roundabout that. Just mold that into the right shape. I'd say that'll do, pig. And then we've got arms round about the same length. And his head. Go about there. I think that's about right. What do you reckon? Can't see. Would you like to? Hang on, I'll give you a pull. There you go. Doink. There's the thing I'm working from. And there's the thing I'm going to be making. The morningscape. Again, we're going to do wings. We'll do them at a later date, not today, as they take just as long to make the frame and stuff than it does to make this. Can you see? I don't know. Have a look. Talking to the PS4 camera there. Not that I actually talk to the PS4 camera. I generally speed everything up. Cup of tea. Now gets the boring part where I'll turn the Robin on, so you can listen to it in the background. Unless you've got another wingman or sidekick that you want me to listen to. But this series is going to be based on superhero sidekicks. So if you've got a funny sidekick audiobook you'd like me to listen to, I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comment section. If you're watching this back, you can still leave a comment because I can always use the inspiration for other ideas. If you've got a creation that you want me to create for yourself or of your own, then or redraw, remake, illiterate into VR. Warm this clay up. I'm going to take my shirt off because I'm absolutely baking. Give me a second. Once again, it's nice and warm in here. Summer sort of comes when I start doing things. Dead air, never good. Right, so back again. Sorry if I made it go quiet there. Standing away, take my shirt off. It's baking in here. We need to warm this clay up, which is kind of good. It's warm in here. It means I don't have to do so much warming up. If you don't know what this is polymer clay or female clay. Never seen it before. Then where have you been living? What rock have you been living under? Because it's quite good stuff. It's like Play-Doh for kids, but it goes hard in the oven. If you look what I mean. Once you've baked this, it will go completely hard. or let's say completely hard, a little bit movable. I'll show you what I mean here. Got the wings. They will be slightly flexible, but I wouldn't go bending them, trying to bend them too much. It probably will break. But that's why you make statues out of them, and figures, and pretty much anything you can think of out of polymer clay. It's one of these most versatile things you can make things out of, that you can make things out of. Oh yeah. I need my knife. Where's my knife? That's not a knife, that's a spoon. This is a knife. If you're watching any young, fault if you cut yourself. I've told you not to use them unless you get a parent to do it first for you. You cut yourself, your fault. If you are a parent and you cut yourself still, you're an idiot. Alright, no knives. Put the knives over there. Right, so we got some clay. I want to kind of cover this up now and make just the armature. Cover the armature. Again, we don't need to make a head. Just want to put it there for shape. Kind of want to use feet like this as well. Not sure what kind of size, but we'll soon figure out what size we're going to be doing it once we've created the base sort of body form. Again, this is going to need to be baking, so I'm going to be turning on something for you to listen to while I get this all done. You can still leave comments, guys, as much as you want. I'll still answer those comments. I'll also destroy my house at the same time. Because this part is one of the most very boring parts. Because all I'm doing is conditioning the clay, softening it. Softening it and making it flat. Not too flat, but not too not too flat, but flat enough so we'll go make a good coverage. Because what you what you need to do is get it kind of fairly level as well, so you can sort of keep using it. It's kind of another way of sparing out your clay a little bit to get it thin, especially if you're just doing the armature layer, because you don't need much to cover it over it. You just need enough so you can make the form. You can put like I said, I'll be putting clothing over the top of it, probably making his feet and his hands at another date, so I can stick them to it via using clay, of course, like I did for the Blue Angel when I made his hand. But as this is the boring part, and I'm going to take a while doing it, let's listen to some Dick Grayson, Robin, New 52, Origin, Comic Story. If you don't know who Comic Story, they're about to explain who they are. As long as there's not an answer.
Playing from the main SMT 110.
Is that too loud? Let me know in the background.
Welcome to Origins, where we go over the origins of your favorite superheroes and villains. A lot of you guys have been asking for the Robins, but we can't tell you about each of the Robins' origins without telling you the origin of the first Robin, Dick Grayson. Now, before you go, oh God, Comic Story, and I know this one. Do you know his history? Because there's more to the story in the New 52 version. Richard Dick Grayson had two loving parents, and he himself was the model child. Loving, caring, and when it was his mother's birthday, he even picked out the best gift for her. But of course, he wouldn't tell his father. It needed to be a secret to both of them. You see, the Graysons were a well-known circus act in the Haley Circus, so Richard's days were filled with fun and excitement. And on the night of his mother's birthday, Richard sat outside of his parents' trailer, and he listened as his mother opened the gift. It was a golden bracelet with two robins kissing on it. It was perfect, and she loved it. He just sat outside the trailer smiling as he heard them talking about how perfect of a gift it was. But that night, tragedy struck for Richard, as it does with most superheroes. The circus was tapped on funding, and because of this, they skimped on the safety precautions. Both of Richard's parents fell to their deaths in front of the entire audience, and in front of Richard himself. And the audience, though, was Bruce Wayne. And he saw the terror in the young boy's eyes as his entire life washed away that day. So he took a special interest in Richard that day, and he followed him for the next 2 weeks. The death of his parents was placed on a man who failed to properly set up the safety precautions, and Richard went on a warpath looking for that man, the man named Tony Zuko. But Batman watched from a distance as a young Richard ran in, risking his life to get his revenge. And on one night in which Richard would have received a bullet to the head, Batman leaped in to rescue him. He then brought Richard to the Batcave that night, and Richard put it together. Batman hadn't been following Zuko. He had been following Richard to protect him. And Batman didn't deny it. As a matter of fact, he removed his cowl, revealing to Richard that he was Bruce Wayne. He then offered to help train Richard to fight against Zuko, to turn his rage into a true passion and something that could protect Gotham City.
Okay, so we've flattened that out. Nice and flat. About, say, pancake. Whatever kind of thickness you would say, more a crepe pancake than an American pancake. But yeah, nice and flat and done, ready to go over the armature. Kind of like skin. So let's flat the skin over, or should we cut it to size? I think we'll cut it a little bit, and so we don't put too much on. But I'm going to be going for about a V shape, just for the torso. If you're thinking it, I'm also thinking about the torso while I'm doing this, and this will be like the flat bit. You know, the bit between the leg flap. So we'll lay it down over. Again, a bit too much, but that's fine. We're kind of making the right shape. With the excess, we can again make sure the bubbles of this come out. You do not want to keep bubbles inside. They will ruin it as the more you make. But we're just covering over the whole thing with clay. The whole clay that you've used, or as much as you would think you would need. Just so you can try and make the form of the creation, form of the body. Again, going to have quite a sizable back to it, because he's going to have a set of wings. The waist to be fairly the same, I think. And mold it a little bit. You can see what I'm doing there. Just molding over. Getting it into the right kind of shapes. I don't think I want to put any kind of like, or maybe I should. Like I was thinking maybe some like pecs, a kind of muscular, but he's quite young, this character. Again, he's a lot taller than Luke, but he is going to be bending down like that. You could cut the legs shorter as well. I do think he's a bit tall. So I've got the, and then again, I can't, it's got to be that tall because of the skateboard. Ignore that, what I just said. All the bubbles are out. Make sure there definitely is no bubbles in there, because when it heats up, that bubble will try and escape, and I'll make a hole in your creation. It might not be a big hole, but it'll definitely make a bulge, and then it'll decide where it's going to try and escape. It could be in a really convenient place, or most of the time it's in a really non-convenient place. So always make sure you get those little bubbles. Even the tiniest bubble can create a defect in your creation once you've actually made it. Go away, rubbish. I think I will give him some sort. We're going to give him clothing. So, will he need? He's going to be wearing a jacket. Is it an open jacket? Did I wear it? Did he? Or like maybe an open jacket? Maybe a jumper. He's going to have a hood, but not over his head. Obviously, because of the horns, I want to kind of show them off. Head about that big. Again, so we need to be squashed a little bit here. I think there's going to be a bit too much here. So let's move in ever so slightly down a bit more like that. Size of the head. His head's going to be about waist in the back. Got to leave space for the arms. And clothing. Again, we do the process again. Right, you get to listen to that while I get to do this.
So they spent the next few months turning the acrobat Richard Grayson into the superhero sidekick of Batman. And on one fall evening, Bruce Wayne walked over and he saw Richard doodling designs for his costume. But Bruce agreed that the designs that Richard had drawn didn't work. They didn't speak to him as a person. And that's when Richard saw two robins flying nearby. Bruce told him, the robin is a sign of hope and rebirth in some cultures, almost a sign of growing up. So with that, Robin was born, and he went on to fight with Batman in many battles, and he became one of the strongest allies Batman has ever had. And on the anniversary of his parents' death, he decided he wanted to remember them, but he wasn't sure how. It was Alfred Pennyworth that recommended that he remember them by living up to his namesake, the Robin. So every year on the anniversary of his parents' death, he lives his life to the fullest to remember the good times. Now, as many of you know, Richard Grayson worked with Batman for a very long time, but eventually it was time for him to grow up. And he became the superhero known as Nightwing, allowing Jason Todd to take over as Robin. And then eventually, his identity was revealed to the world and he became known as the Spy Grayson. We do have a video explaining his transition to Grayson, so you're going to have to check it out sometime. And as for Jason Todd, he's the next Robin that we're going to be covering. I don't think you're aware of just how deep the Joker was in his history. As usual, I'm Benny the Comic Storian, and you can follow us on Twitter at Comic Storian or our subreddit r/Comic Storian. Don't forget, we also have a video game variety channel and a list-based channel known as Eligible Monster Gaming and List Bomb. You can find both those in the description down below, and I will see you guys next time right here.
Discover the perfect timepiece among our extent.
Yeah, I'll have this instead. Tim Drake.
Welcome to Origins, where we cover the origins of your favorite superheroes and villains. Tim Drake is a fan favorite Robin. But did you know he isn't really a Robin? He's Red Robin. So how did he get that title? This is the New 52 retelling of his origin. Tim didn't lose his parents at a young age, and he wasn't full of rage that needed to be harnessed. Tim was simply the best at everything. He had an amazing future in front of him as he trained for the Olympics. He had colleges lined up to recruit him, and he had two loving parents to support him. He even impressed Batman because of the projects that he was conducting in his spare time. But Batman told Alfred repeatedly he would not take Tim as his new Robin. He wouldn't lose another after Jason. He didn't want to be the one carrying Tim's body to his parents, explaining what had happened. But Tim wanted more, and he knew that he could matter in the world. He could be more than an Olympic athlete. He could be more than the top student at his college. He had a little side project that he had been working on between classes and on the weekends, the one that impressed Batman. And the project was Batman. He was getting closer day by day to figuring out who Batman really was. Tim noticed that Robin was missing lately, and that Batman seemed to be on edge lately, a little more brutal and a little angrier. So he followed the clues, and he got on the trail, and he followed a man that he thought was Batman to an abandoned aviary. Inside, he did find Batman, but it was all a trap set up by Batman so he could talk to Tim. "What do you want, Tim?" And shockingly, Tim replies with, "I want to apply for a job as the new help. I'll sign whatever you want to ensure that you aren't liable." But Batman was still a little messed up by the whole Jason incident and coldly told Tim, "This isn't a game. It's a matter of life and death." But Tim jumps in. "Like what happened to Robin? This conversation is over. Now go home. You are never going to see me again," Batman says, leaving the building. Any normal kid would have probably moved on at this point, gone to college, gotten into the Olympics, and live the life laid out before him. But not Tim. He insisted on creating his own destiny. Since Batman wouldn't let him become the new Robin, he decided to use his skills to take money from the rich and give it to the poor. And the first rich individual that he did this to was the Cobblepots. He stole Penguin's fortune. As Alfred put it, it appears that all of this was to get Batman's attention. And it worked. As Tim got home that evening, Penguin's gang arrived at his house, and they started shooting up the whole building. Tim shouted, "Batman!" in surprise, as Batman comes crashing through the window. But Batman just told him, "Don't insult either of us by pretending you weren't expecting me." So Tim drops the act, and he turns to him. "What's the plan, sir?" And Batman snaps at him, "There is no plan. You're staying here until I clean up your mess." And Tim follows that up by shouting at him, "Can I just say that you're a lot surlier in real life than I imagined you were going to be when I started this?" While Batman handled Penguin's gang, Tim crawled to his parents' room to ensure that they were safe. Because would he become another Robin? One who lost his parents due to a mistake that he made? But thankfully, they were fine. And Tim Drake would not become another Robin that became an orphan that night. So once the whole mess was cleaned up, Batman did offer Tim a spot with him, but as his partner, not as his sidekick. If Tim agreed to work with him and do what Batman told him to do, he'll come to trust Tim, and they can be true partners. Tim's parents? Well, they were placed into protective custody to keep them away from Cobblepot's gang. But they were okay with that. They knew that their son was destined for amazing things in this life, and they were willing to sacrifice their own lives to ensure his future. So they went into witness protection. Batman then brought Tim to the Batcave, where Tim looked around in awe. But once he was asked to put on Robin's uniform, last worn by Jason, he politely replied with, "Out of respect for Jason, I won't be wearing that uniform. I think it benefits no one." So after he disappears into the changing room, he comes out with an outfit of his own design. And Batman replies with, "Welcome aboard, Robin." But Tim corrects him. "That's Red Robin, partner." Red Robin wouldn't stay with Batman long because he would eventually set off on his own to continue forging his own destiny. In the New 52 universe, he set off to investigate the disappearances of superpowered teenagers, and eventually formed the Teen Titans, which he eventually leads. So thank you for joining us for today's episode, and make sure you follow us on Twitter @ComicStorian and follow our subreddit r/ComicStorian. Also remember, we run 2 other channels, Eligible Monster for Gaming Comic Books and Variety Gaming Videos, and List Bomb, where we do all kinds of extra research and turn it into lists. Click both links into the description down below because we really appreciate anyone who subscribes to the channel. And I want to say thank you to everyone who has followed this channel and helped us get to where we are now. This is an amazing community, and make sure you go check out theweeklypoll.net because that's where the community forms up and we all chat. I'm Benny, the Comic Historian, and I will see you guys next time right here.
Right, okay, so we're at the point where I'm kind of deciding where the pose is going to be. You can't see much, but kind of the legs are going to be something like that, in a pose. As his arm reaches down, so it's kind of where his arm's going to be, roughly about there. Again, it's a bit tricky to get this pose, but I need an extra hand. His arm will be reaching down, and then maybe his other arm just sort of down by his side. Let's do that. Same process. Form the clay, warm it up, flatten it out, wrap it around.
There's a war coming, and it's going to involve all of the Robins. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it automatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is a massive crossover that recently just ended that involves Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and all of the We Are Robin crew. So let's get started. Recently, there have been a group of kids taking up the mantle of Robin across Gotham City. Batman has been missing ever since Endgame, and Robin has been nowhere to be found. So they felt the name needed to live on and represent citizens willing to go above and beyond. Recently, they caused an explosion that leveled a building, and the new robotic Batman told them that they needed to stop. But it hasn't stopped them. More and more kids are stepping up. Which brings us to today. A young boy standing in a liquor store, proud of himself for stopping a robbery and telling the clerk, "I'm Robin." But that's when a police officer comes into the store and sees a man on the ground, and the young boy in Robin colors standing there holding a gun. The robber got up in a hurry, and the cop tried to stop him, and in the confusion of it all, the young boy shot the police officer and the robber. As he stood there over the two dead men, he tried to comfort himself by telling himself, "I am Robin. I'm Robin. I am Robin." The situation grew out of control quickly, with the police going against these teenage vigilantes. The city council even passed an anti-Robin law, and the kids began getting beat up for wearing Robin's colors. It is now against the law in Gotham to wear red or have an R in your clothing. Which brings us to Duke as he walks the streets of Gotham talking to Rico. They are two members of the We Are Robin gang that has been involved in the recent events where they stopped the bombs. They are talking about this recent Robin law. Rico explains that she was sent off to Gotham Academy because of this whole thing, and he tells her to lay low. Once this whole Robin law thing passes, her parents will calm down and send her home. That's when a police officer sees Duke's red shoes and asks him about them because they look very Robinish. Duke explains that he uses his shoes for walking, never running. He doesn't run because running means that you're doing something wrong, officer, and that's the story of his shoes. So the officer slams Duke against a cop car and tells him, "Red means Robin, and in Gotham, Robin means you're under arrest, smart guy." Duke waits for the car to be passing over a bridge, and then he slips out of the cuffs and jumps out of the car into the bay shouting, "I am Robin!" Meanwhile, elsewhere, Jason Todd, otherwise known as Red Hood, otherwise known as a former Robin, gets a phone call from an old friend, Tim Drake, otherwise known as Red Robin. He explains what's going on in Gotham for these Robin kids, and Jason comments that it really doesn't affect Tim. He went with the whole Red Robin thing, wings and all. So it really doesn't matter. These Robin kids should figure out the whole thing on their own. That's what a real Robin would do. And Tim tells him the real Robin is here already. Jason realizes that this means Damian Wayne has returned home. He must be taking matters into his own hands with his father missing. And that's exactly what's happening. As Duke gets the Robins together for a meeting in which they decide that they're going to stand up to the police and tell them, "We are Robin!" Damian exclaims from the rafters, "That's moronic. You're not Robin. I am Robin." They argue for a minute, but Damian leaves it up to them. "You are Robin. Defend yourselves." And he begins to beat on the kids. Meanwhile, high above the streets of Gotham, the Bat Blimp is getting word that there is a riot forming in one of the old warehouses. Jim Gordon suits up in the Robo-Batman suit and he launches down to the scene, crashing through a window, causing all of the kids to pause and look at him. But it's Damian that steps up to this Batman. And who are you exactly? "I'm Batman." Damian looks to his right, and then he looks to his left to see if he's being pranked. "You have got to be kidding me." He jumps right in to fight against Batman, and he gets the upper hand easily. But eventually, Batman gets one good hit in, throwing Damian aside. He wipes his mouth, and he tells this Batman, "Enough! This is Gotham!" Which is where Batman and Robin with Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop and a bat signal in the air and a damn penguin flying around and a damn umbrella happen. As he talks, Batman gets closer, and then Damian grabs a loose electrical wire and tags Batman with it, shorting out the suit. All of the kids look at the triumphant Damian and realize he is Robin. And that's when Jason and Tim arrive. Hey, easy to kill Robin and easy to forget Robin. Tim jumps in. "Technically, you're both easy to kill, Robin. I should be the not so easily killed Robin, but with a cooler name." Damian tells them both to get out of his way. He's hunting Robins and he isn't going to listen to them. But Jason tells him they know someone that he will listen to. Across the world, the first Robin, Dick Grayson, gets the call to come back to Gotham and join this situation. While later that night, the kid that started this whole thing gets a knife in his back from a Talon, one of the assassins of the Court of the Owls. And the court themselves make a comment that this is all going according to their plans. Dick Grayson is on his way home. Our next day starts strong with every Robin in Gotham arriving to a gathering that the real Robins have arranged, and Damian telling them they aren't Robins, none of them. And Grayson, the first Robin, the one that started it all, tells the kids they aren't Robin. Damian's right, but we're going to fix that. We're going to train you to be real Robins. Welcome to Robin School. They train them fast and furious until eventually they need to use all of the Robins. Grayson decides they need information on this whole thing, what the police and the city council are planning. So he breaks Tim, Jason, and Damian into various groups, and he throws batches of the Robin kids with each of them. He then takes Duke high above the city to watch everything go down. And that's when it happens. The police arrive at every location in full force.
Yeah, I was trying to get him into a sort of form there. Kind of what shape, and as you say there in the stunt, it's doing a stunt. It's kind of doing the stunt. Kind of like standing there holding the board up. I kind of can get him to still. I kind of almost did. trying to balance it on the skateboard with this leg here. So if I hold this leg, it kind of stays still. So maybe that's where I need to kind of look, maybe put the pencil and things. But it's looking okay. It's looking a bit too dumpy. But I'm hopefully going to be able to cover that over with the clothing and the wings and kind of cover it up that way. But I'm not sure how I'm going to get around to doing that properly. Trying not to break it at the same time. But yeah, it's kind of doing a stunt as such. It's going to be freestanding, and it's going to be really interesting how I'm going to actually get this to freestand with wings and the skateboard and loads of other extra bits and the poses in. Because again, previously the pose that I had was already a pre-pose. But I kind of learned a little bit from doing the wings for that kind of thing. One more arm to do, and then it's pretty much done. I'm going to get this arm done so you can listen to the rest of that, and I'll give you a little outro and explain a little bit more in a momento.
To arrest Tim, Jason, Damien, and every Robin kid. Then the police shine a light on Grayson and Duke realizes it was a setup. They knew they were coming. Grayson turns to Duke. I have a transmitter on me that led the police to the location of every mission. Duke follows Grayson to the roof, and Grayson reveals he trained everyone so that he could gain control of the arrests and get everyone out of harm's way. You manipulated us all. You just wanted to tuck us all away safe like we're your damn kids. Grayson smiles and he turns to Duke. Batman once told me that being a Robin is about one thing, family, and I take care of my family. He then jumps off the side of the building, leaving Duke there to get arrested. All the Robins get brought to some weird new prison system that was created by the city council. Something with suspended prison cells and the such. Jim Gordon as Batman stands there with Harvey Bullock asking the question, where's the due process? What is this? This isn't a normal arrest. He then notices some of the kids have black eyes and they look a little beaten up. And he asks who spoke to these kids without a legal guardian around. Jim Gordon is a Batman that works for the GCPD, and he doesn't like this one bit. So he decides he's going to get to the bottom of this whole thing himself. While this discussion is going on, Damian Wayne decides he'll figure out a way out of this, because there's only one Robin after all. Batman calls the city council to ask them where the due process is, but he's easily blown off, so he decides to take his suit and go to the home of one of the members of the city council to see if he can get more answers. Once he enters the home, he sees someone else at the same idea. Grayson is already there. Grayson throws Batman out the window and onto the fire escape. Batman can't even stay standing with how effective Grayson is at fighting, and he gets Batman down fast. So Batman goes to plan B. Wait! He lowers his mask and tells Grayson, stop! It's me! Talk to me! Grayson turns and sees Jim Gordon. Kind of figured it was you underneath that mask, but, well, you kind of snuck up on me. I know the cops are rounding up the Robins as they are told, instead of figuring out what's really going on. This whole thing feels like a setup, Jim. I went through the officer's place and I spoke to his friends. Nothing is adding up. Don't you get it, Grayson? This was inevitable. Vigilantes and the police. How many times did I almost fight you back when I was a lieutenant? But something is off. Well, I'm going to go with you to figure this out. We're on the edge of something, Jim. And Batman and Grayson jump off to solve this. Meanwhile, back at the cells, a mystery person calls the officers away, leaving him alone with the kids. And Jason realizes who's behind them right away, as another kid is in shock, stating they can't be real.
I let it go and it did that automatically.
They just revealed themselves. While Batman and Grayson are following the clues and starting to ask the right questions, like where did the GCPD get the funding to build that prison? And why are there owl statues in all of the buildings that they visit? The court begins to push their plans further by taking Jason and Tim out of their cages and telling them that they will fight to the death as the court is looking for their new gray son. Damian panics as he realizes his brothers are about to fight it out. And Tim looks at Jason.
Okay, so that's 50 minutes. Or so.
Both are evenly matched as Jason throws everything.
Said I'd be doing about 50 minutes. It's 48 minutes on the clock on the actual YouTube, but I set a timer so I could record the PS4. I know I always leave myself a good couple minutes. So that is the end of today's stream, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Hopefully you have enjoyed it today, guys. And if you're watching on the PS4, keep watching for some more. But there is the creation so far, skateboard and all. Had to make his feet. I am thinking of doing the hands and cutting them a little bit, making them a bit shorter, but maybe not, because I like the way that hand is wrapping around. Again, I'm only doing that, and I'll be able to remove it afterwards. To once everything's hardened, say the feet. Right, let's get him in the right place. His feet there will harden, and it'll harden in the shape, so I won't have to realign it and things like that. But it's freestanding right now, and might need to move the head a little bit, but again, that's going to be kind of removable. We'll see how that works out. You can find out how it looks tomorrow, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're watching back, click the links that will appear, and I will see you tomorrow with the sidekick of Blue Angel. Once again, my name is Bloop084. Check me out on TikTok, Instagram, and many other places. If you just want to leave a comment, you can leave one down below. Otherwise, bye for now.